everyone. Today's tutorial is going to be on how to submit an application for Ambrose University. So to start, we're going to go to Ambrose University main website, and on the right top corner, we're going to select the apply option. By doing this, we're going to be redirected to the Apply Alberta website, where we once again going to go over the apply now and select that option. It will take you to a page where you can read a little more about the process. Just a quick thing to keep in mind is you will need to create an account for My Alberta Digital ID, and you will need to request for an Alberta student number. The Alberta student number, it's pretty much done automatically, so do not worry about that if you do not have one right now. So we're just going to go to apply now one more time and select it. As we mentioned, the first thing to do is to create an account with My Alberta Digital ID. So we're just going to go to this down section here and select the create account option. So we're just going to start by filling in all the information. So username, please use a name that you're familiar with, as it is the name that you're going to be request for every time you want to sign it into your Alberta Digital ID account. So let's just put my name here. However, we do get an error message. This will happen if the username that you're trying to select is already being used. So you just have to make a new name to overpass that. So I'm just gonna do that. There we go. So now we don't get an error because that user ID is unique. Please use your email address that you paid the most attention to. I know sometimes we have a couple of email addresses, but any information regarding to your academic record will be sent through your email. So make sure you use an email that you keep an eye on. And then select a password. Again, just have a look into what characters can be used to make sure you get an appropriate password. And just confirm your password one more time. Once you have created your sign-in information, they're just going to ask you for some personal information. So again, make sure you use the names that are given to you legally and that the way they appear on your passport. I'm just going to autofill it here, but again, your last name, date of birth, and then they're going to ask you for your address. It's really important that you put in the address where you are currently living at. If you are not located in Canada, please do not put an address in Canada. Selecting a Canadian address will trigger a verification section that requires a unique number to be mailed to that location. So to prevent this, please select the country and the address that you are currently located at. Fill in all the information. I'm just double checking that it is correct. Perfect. And once you have double checked all the information, you are going to agree to the terms. Once again, if you want to go through them, just select the terms, read through them, and then select submit. Perfect. So now what it says here is that you need to go to your email address to make sure that you finalize and confirm that is your correct email address in order to continue within the accounts. So what we're going to do is we are going to go to your email address where you should have received an email from Alberta Digital ID. Open that email and confirm that it is your email address. Once again, they're going to ask you for the password. And just select next. So here we go. So once we have reached to this new website, new page, it's going to ask you to make sure your information is correct. So once again, just double check that your first name, middle name, if you have one, and your last name, date of birth, and email address are correct. If they're not, make sure you edit and fix those for you. For identity check, so once, as if you remember at the beginning, I mentioned about the ASN number. So because we are all international students, you do not have one right now. So what you're gonna do is just select the option that says create new ASN. This is just a message, just to double check that you don't have one previously. If you believe that you have one already, you can double check by following this information. But if none of this applied, you just have to do none of this apply, and then it will automatically assign you a number. So once you create that, just create new ASN. And as I mentioned, automatically you will get a number. I will highly recommend you take a picture of this screen or you write down this number. You will need it later on for your applications. This is kind of like your unique ID for education purposes. Just click continue. And once you have created your account with My Alberta Digital ID, you will be redirected to the Apply Alberta, where you can start the application. So we're just gonna go through the terms of conditions. So just make sure you read through all of them just to be a little more familiar for yourself. And if you agree with them, just agree or decline. Here, you'll need to fill in all of your information. Just one thing to keep in mind is on the left side, you will see a panel with all the information that is required for you. Anytime that you finalize one section, you will see a check mark besides that section. So just make sure that by the end, you can see that all of the sections have check marks. So personal information, you'll notice that a couple of the information has already been transferred from your Alberta Digital ID. So again, just as you go through, make sure you're reading the information and confirming that that is correct. If you have another preference first name, you can put it in here. I usually do like to go by my first name, so I'll just leave it blank. So legal name, so legal first name. And once again, this needs to be the same as your legal document, which is your passport. If you have had a change in your name, just make sure you fill in this information. So if you got married and you have taken a different last name, or you have made changes to your official name, you will need to provide that information on this specific section. Once again, here, just your Alberta student number, your date of birth, and gender. Once you're done, just click next. And as I mentioned, we get a check mark, just confirming that that specific section of information is complete. Moving along, this mail address, your current mailing address. So again, just make sure you select where you are currently located right now. So because you are inputting international address, sometimes you will get these little errors. So just make sure you go through it properly until you can fill in it properly. There we go. There we go. And then if you have a And then if you have an alternative address, so if you have a family member here in Canada, or you want to provide a second home address back at home, this will be the area where you can input that information. Sorry, should leave this blank. There we go. So now contact information, again, double check that that email is proper, the email to reach out to you, and then any phone numbers. Perfect. Citizenship, so you will probably select other and then just citizenship. So because you guys will need to apply for a study permit, you just have to select the study permit option here. Enter date into Canada. So indicate when you enter Canada or plan to enter Canada. So here you're just gonna select the date that you are planning to start your studies. So let's say I'm planning to start my studies on the fall semester of 2022. So I'm gonna select the year 22, this year. Fall semester starts in September, and I'm just gonna put the first date in September. If you already have a study permit, make sure you put that number in here. Again, majority of you guys will need to apply for one, so you can just leave that area blank. So school attended. So for here, we're gonna see your have current. So if you have attended school, just select yes. And then it's going to ask you to add your school. So we're just going to select the country where you did your high school. The name of your high school. So here you're going to search for your high school. Select the list of a school. It's going to give you a list of a school. If you do not see your school, just select my school is not listed, and then you'll just have to manually enter it. So again, and the city where it is located. And then just add school. For each academic record that you add, they're going to ask you for more information. So again, what kind of certificate did I obtain in this? So high school diploma. So just fill in when you started your studies and when you concluded, if you have concluded them. If you need to add a second school, just select add another school. This is for high school only. So if you have completed your final year of education in multiple high schools, just add another one. If you have just completed it in one, it's good just to enter the one and just select next. So this specific area is for students that are taking high school in Alberta. So if that is your case, just select yes. But for many of us, internationals will be no, as you have not completed any school in Canada. Then it's going to ask what's your highest level achieved. So again, just select, if you have multiple schools, select which one is the highest level of education. And then the grade that you have done. So in my case is grade 12. If you have completed any post-secondary education, you will just have to go through a similar process. So just select yes, and then it's going to ask you to add the institution and fill in all the information. In my case, I have not, so I'm just going to put no. So here now is going to ask us a little more information. So first language, if your first language is English or French, select. If not, just select the other. So if you are a first generation student, you can select it. If no, then just select no. This just means if your parents have completed high school before, you will select no. If you are your first generation to complete high school, then you'll select yes. Perfect. So as I mentioned, all of the information here has been filled in, and we have received check marks for all of them. So once we have reached this area, we're going to select the Ambrose University, and we will be directed to the application specifically for Ambrose. Okay, once we get here, it says, what are you applying for? So if you're looking for an undergraduate program, so that's music, English literature, history, your business, administration program, psychology, bachelor's, behavioral science, or theology programs, you will select the arts and science application. If you're here for the School of Ministry, so theology programs, you will select the School of Ministry application. And if you're applying for a master's program, you're just going to select seminary application. So we're just going to go with a normal undergrad program, and then once again, select start. Once you select the application that you want to fill in, you will notice that a lot of the information is already filled in. This is because the information has been transferred from both your Alberta Digital ID and Apply Alberta profiles. So once again, just go through the information just to verify that it is correct. Then here, just make sure you select the program that you're looking for. So I'm just going to say, I am looking for a business administration program, and select next. So again, just verifying your information, my email. If you have an alternative address, you can add it here as well. If not, just your main address will be enough. Just double check one more time when you would like to start. So right now we are open for the fall semester and the winter semester. So you can apply for either semester. So just select the one that you are interested in. And the academic year, there we go. And just next. If you have, as an international student, you will need to provide an English proficiency exam. If you have taken one already, please let us know by providing this information. If you have not taken one, it's fine. You can leave this area blank, just keep in mind that we will need to see your results before we can continue with your application and review it for admission. So here, just again, going through the different education systems that you have gone through. So high school is the only education level that I have completed. If you are currently on your senior year or your grade 12, please fill in this information, which includes what courses you are taking right now. So if you are on your last year, let's say grade 12, and you are taking biology, math, social sciences, economics, any of those, make sure you put it in what you're taking on your first semester and what you're taking on your second semester. If you have completed high school already, you're just gonna put in the non-available. On both of them. And then similarly, if you have included any post-secondary educations, you will have to have fill in this information as well, and it will populate for you for your that specific case. Perfect. So demographics. So just some information, as we are a Christian university. Again, you don't have to be Christians to be part of our community. So just make sure you go through the list and select the one that applies to your case. How did you hear about Ambrose? If you are applying to other schools, feel free to let us know. If not, you can just put again, non-applicable, and then your ethnicity. So here is just some parent guardian information. So if you just want to provide the information for your parents' names, if you want them to also have access to your file, or if you are moving to Canada with an uncle or an auntie and you want to provide their contact information as guardian, feel free to fill in this section. If you do not have a parent or a guardian, you can leave it just blank. Second, we're almost to the end of the application. So just go through the declaration section. This is very specific to Ambrose University. So just read through it. And if you do agree, select I agree to continue with your application. Finally, it's just going to showcase what documents you will need to provide for your application. So in my case, I have to get my transcripts from my high school from San Jose de Castilla, which is the high school that I attended. If you have any other institutes or post-secondary institutes, they will be displayed here as well. Okay, and just to finish your application, there will be an option here. Make sure you double check all of this information for payment and billing, and then just how you will pay. Here you will input your credit card information. Once all of this information is good to go, you will select the review section and then submit. At this time, I will not go through it just because I do not want to actually finalize this application, but once you have put in your credit card information, you will be able to submit. And after you submit, you will hear back from us once we process your application within 2 to 5 business days.